Hello sword friends, Happy New Year! To kickstart Swordier 2025, in today's edition, we bring to you this newly made longsword. So before I dive into all those beautiful features and also the cutting capability to show off of this longsword, I want to thank you everyone for giving us for the past years in 2024 the advices, suggestions, and even also help us do the reviews to make the upgradings and even share all the tips even in the forging process. So that's why we can keep growing and also to make the beautiful sword you love. So we truly appreciate that and I feel grateful for everything you did to Swordier. So thank you. Now let's dive into our newly made sword today. So first, by the overlook of it, you will notice that the crossguard, ring crossguard, which is totally different. But if you look closer, you might find that it's a bit shiny compared to those matte processing fittings which we have in Swordier's medieval longsword lines, and also with those beautiful features like the laser engraving on the tip and on the fittings right there with the flower seamed to match with this newly created center stopper pommel with a twisted design. This is not easy, but we wanted to kickstart with a beautiful one. I know you guys love center stopper style pommels, and we have it. If you take a closer look at the crossguard, especially this ring crossguard, it's still shiny as well. It's just matched with the pommel design. And also you will notice that the handle here is made of genuine leather, hand stitch right there. So this is the part I find that you guys love the most. We used to have those wax cord and also we have those silicone rubbers, but most important part is the sword itself. If you just look at the blade, you might thought this is another 16A. Actually, it's not. It's a hologram. If you take a closer look, now I'm giving you a close-up of the blade geometry. It's a hologram blade geometry with 18B typologies from the oak shot. So now, with this beautiful fuller, you know those blade geometry is not easier. It's not easy to forge, especially with those even hologram blade geometry. It decreased the sword weight very much. Now, it felt really light. When I have it in my hand, it's only 1,380 grams. Does that ring a bell compared to other swords we have? Remember, we used to have a 16A flower-seamed sword have the same weight. So I find that in that range of weight, people find that very easy to maneuver it and wield it really comfortably during the cuttings. So we control it under 1,400 grams. In that case, you will have a powerful cutter. Secondary bevel, I know some people like it, some people don't, but doesn't matter. We later are gonna test the cutting capability. So I will leave that judgment to you guys. Let's continue on the specification of this beautiful longsword. The length of the blade is 88 centimeters. It's made of spring steel, and now with the decrease, especially with the hollow ground geometry to decrease the weight of the blade, now you have a fairly heavier pommel and crossguard. The point balance is only around 4 centimeters. Some people still might worry about those cutting abilities, but to be honest, this sword is more designed for the thrusting. But I tested it beforehand. It performed really good in cutting as well. But I'm gonna show it off to you guys. The handle here, as I mentioned, is made of genuine leather, and the length, especially for the grip sections like that, is already 28 centimeters. So it definitely can fit for two-handed, and the whole length of the hilt is 30 centimeters around. So basically, it's a beautiful longsword. You can have it in your hand. Needed to mention that we added this ring guard to give you better protection, especially you do a lot of heavy cuttings. This is made of spring steel, so I'm pretty sure you can have to cut all those heavy materials in your backyard. And also the length of the crossguard now is already 29 centimeters, so it can give you enough protections during the cuttings and also when you do all those fencings as well. But, well, no one uses it to do the fencing with a sharp edge, right? But I'm just mentioning it. The point is, I'm trying to stress here is that the blade proportion is very beautiful, as you can see from here. Beautifully designed and better grip. And of course, it has like a really sharp edge. Another thing I needed to mention that, of course, this blade is distal tapered. From the base right here, it's already like a 6 millimeters. Now we move on over to the top tip right here, is around 3 millimeters. So since we have those hollow ground blade geometries, we don't have to distal taper much, but still we enhance the tip part so you can have like a really good thrusting capabilities without compromise the cutting capability. Now, I think it's a time to put this beautiful sword in test. Let's get into it. So now, we will set up the tatami mat stand right there. But before we do those tatami mat cuttings, this is the part which lots of people concerned with those secondary bevel sharpening. Let's see if it's sharp enough. Now, I'm doing this slowly. Pretty sharp, right? Now, I'm going forward. Really sharp, smooth, right? So, if it's smooth enough, now I do mention that this sword weighted only 1,380 grams, so it might have a same weight with those iron sword you have in your hand. So how it's gonna perform in those tatami mat, this is what we're gonna find out. All right, so let's do it. Pretty good in the thrusting and also in the direction control. So this is important when you do the thrusting, right? And this is one purpose of the longsword as well. Pretty smooth after a few practice. And when I do the cuttings. Now, let's see the horizontal cutting. Ooh, very nice. So basically, for this tatami mat, I'll practice and also do a lot of like different directions, angles to test how maneuverable it can be. So from the sharpness, it can definitely cut through all those heavy materials. And it cuts smooth, as you can see the chat. You can check the edge right there. And it's maneuverable. You don't feel like the impression I have is that it won't drive you to the inertia to drive you to the wrong direction. You can easily control it, maneuver it. So this is really important when you do the cuttings. You can control the blade, that means you are in safety. Or else, it can drive you to everywhere, it can be dangerous. So right after we tested the tatami mat, I think it's time we do the bamboo. Let's see. I want to go harder for this beautiful sword. Now I've set it up the bamboo right here, so this is a guaranteed dry bamboo. Now you hear the sound, it still has all those branches coming out everywhere. So actually I just pick it up from a bamboo forest. Now, I think I will just cut it, no matter what. I will just trim it a little bit. There we go. I'm using it like a chopping wood, huh? Here we go. See? If you are talking about like the abusive testing, this is what I can show it to you. Chopping the bamboo branches. Now, I think we will finish them all. Now, before I do that, cuttings, still I wanted to give you a close-up to the blade surface, right? Chopping those branches of the bamboo is not a big problem for us. How it gonna handle a thick bamboo like that? But I wouldn't recommend you guys to try this drum bamboo at a home backyard, because this is still can be like a little bit dangerous. All right, so I'm just testing it from at the manufacturer, the responsibility, so you can have it in your home to play it safely. So, but I already tested it for you, so you don't have to test it. Just have fun with the tatami mat and the papers. That's it. All right, so let's do it. Now I'm talking about how thick it can be. All right, so it's kind of like a brick near the base right there, because it's not like a really stably seated on the stand. Let's give it one more try on the drum bamboo. So, the impacting area and the cutting part. Due to the brittleness of this drum bamboo, it's kind of like a brick near the end of the cutting area, but still, man, talking about a heavy duty, see the thickness of the drum bamboo. This is the beautiful part about the hologram geometry. It can cut. Really love it. Very smooth. I think I don't have like a going back and forward to test the sword sharpness and also the stabilities of this beautiful longsword. As you can see, it's really safe to use, and it has like a really beautiful flex strength like this. Now I'm testing here. See that? Now I'm bending over at least like 45 degrees with the tip inside of the wood. Now you take a look at the blade. It's still straight, very straight. The alignment is very beautifully designed. Flex strength is good. Even the tip enhanced right there. Did you notice that? I cut it in the wood. I think now it's the time to make the conclusion. For this 18B type of longsword, especially with the enhanced crossguard, ring crossguard, and also the polished pommel with this beautiful look, I think it deserves a vote in Swordier's medieval longsword. And of course, you can play it, this is the most important, safely in your backyard. And it can cut in terms of the soft material, heavy materials. And we believe we did a good job from our swordsmith perspective. We have been upgrading those holy ground blade geometry longsword. You know, back before we saw this is a failure, we cannot discontinued the holy ground. But thankfully, we make upgrading, and we did a lot of improvement on the blade geometry and also on the sharpening process. That's basically everything regarding this longsword. If you guys have more questions, of course you can find me from website and also from the email. Hopefully you guys love it, and don't hesitate to share with us your opinions. All right, so stay tuned and stay sharp. Bye-bye.